opinions about Bali, and a lot of opinions circulate. Some people do not like it, while others are in awe of it. Today I will go to the island and find out how life is for little people, the children of immigrants.
How like Bali? Want to go home, or is Bali fine?
What I like most about Bali is more than anywhere we have been. Of course, the child misses the snow. My daughter has never seen snow.
I will ask the children and their parents what they consider to be the advantages of living on the island.
No uniforms, no homework, no grades.
It's really cool. Just let the kids loose in the jungle. They immediately find thousands of fun activities, but incidents do happen. We take bows and shoot at targets. We find sticks, a normal childhood.
They were scared because the monkeys attacked us. They took our water and my friend lost her flip-flop. The children are afraid.
Today, I will ask why everyone wants to give birth specifically in Bali, even in wild conditions.
We came to Bali to give birth to a child. It was the best delivery. I highly recommend Rashid Sambali to everyone.
Well, I will try to understand why, in our time, people are trying to take their children far away from their home country, and it seems like people are not really concerned about the war.
People here hardly talk about this topic. Everyone is in the moment and enjoy. Probably.
There will definitely be a lot of interesting things in the story, so follow me on my Instagram and YouTube, and let's go. This is me driving through the city of Ubud. It is located almost in the jungle. Everything around is overgrown with grass, trees, and moss. There are puddles on the roads after the rain, and you have to make your way to the house through such a green corridor.
Anastasia lives here. She and her husband have 4 children, and she gave birth to the 4th one here in Bali a few days ago.
We have traveled to more than 20 countries. We have been to America and Europe. We have practically traveled all over Asia. This is our first time in Bali, and we came here for a long stay right away.
So, can we say that you have seen everything and settled on Bali? Or is it still unclear?
Well, Bali is not letting go yet. With each passing day, this place feels more and more like home, and I don't want to leave from here. And even if the children said a month ago, "Oh, we want to go to Russia, we miss our friends, our grandmothers, and so on," when I asked them just a couple of days ago, they said, "No, we don't want to." You don't want to, for sure.
No.
No. Ubud. It attracts energetically. That is, no matter where I go, we have traveled almost the entire island, lived everywhere, in different areas, but wherever we go, we are still drawn back to Ubud. Why? Probably because there is a sense of spirituality here. I think there are more expatriates, people who come here to live permanently. I have many acquaintances who have lived here for 3 to 4 years, who came for 3 months and ended up staying here for life.
Children are not bored in Bali. There's a pool and attic at the villa. The house is big. There is also a room for the mother's work. Yes, with 4 children, she still manages to braid the girls' hair and make dreadlocks. They rent their accommodation on a monthly basis.
It is 14 million for them. That is a very cheap price for our time now. You can't find such prices at all anymore. Prices have simply skyrocketed by 3 to 4 times.
We had our wedding in Bali 12 years ago, and Bali really captured our hearts. And in some completely magical way, as often happens here, we found ourselves back here after 6 or 7 years.
This is Anna. She raised her daughter here as well.
And so the child grew up for 7 years in Bali. Yes. How can one compare childhood in Bali while looking at their own child? 24/7. And how did we grow up in our countries?
Firstly, the warmth. It is warm all year round, which eliminates the need for a lot of things, such as clothing, tights, and everything else. Secondly, it is about the freedom and expression of the child. It is the opportunity to constantly see new bright images, and all of this is accessible. Bali is such a diverse and multifaceted island where each location is truly unique. Therefore, the child is never bored, but there are also some pitfalls to this. The child becomes satiated, and in order to surprise these children, much more needs to be shown.
But if we look at it subjectively, who was happier, you at 7 years old or your daughter now?
I think that the concepts of happy are very relative because in our childhood we enjoyed some small pleasures. Here, there are simply so many joys for some, but here they are saturated.
If we get to the essence of the question, if both sets of children are happy, is there a difference?
Kids are happy when parents are happy.
Natalia and Marek rented a house right by the rice field.
What kids?
Kids like it.
If we compare it to our childhood, the 80s and 90s,
So, actually, well, I have a comparison. I grew up in a village, so here the freedom is that they run around without diapers and there's no need to put on a lot of clothes or overalls. The Balinese are this is the main reason why we are here. Balinese people really love children. It's simple. They treat children with such tenderness and love that it's worth coming here and being here for the first time when you have given birth or are planning to.
Anna tries to take her child to her homeland to show something other than summer.
For 3 to 4 months, we usually visit Europe, Belarus, and Russia.
and what is your opinion about Belarus after 7 years of living in Bali? And what does the child think?
The child is really enjoying it, right? Yes, there is a lack of change here. In Bali, there is a lack of seasonal change. That is, it is always summer here. The picture here is always bright, cool, and beautiful. Of course, the child misses the snow. My daughter has never seen snow.
So I went for a walk barefoot around the resort. In general, in Bali, you should forget what sidewalks are. And that's why you have to walk, because scooters and cars zoom by right next to you. Walking in Bali is just like something from childhood memories of a village.
In fact, you can't really make them wear shoes at all. That is, they were barefoot for the first while.
Dad handles Splinter's Covey.
How do you like Bali? Do you want to go home, or is everything fine in Bali?
What I like most about Bali is that it seems better than everywhere we have been before. Bali.
What is entertainment for immigrants and their children is everyday life for the locals, with low wages, dirty streets, and flimsy huts as housing. Instead of going to school, local children often walk along the beaches and sell souvenirs to tourists. This way, they can earn even more than their parents.
How much is one bracelet?
I have 30,000, 50,000, 20,000.
Anastasia's children study remotely and go to camp.
They opened a camp there, and they have different activities 3 times a day. For example, there is English vocal training and something else.
3 times a week, probably.
3 times a day.
Per day.
3 times a day.
They are fed 3 times a day and play with them there. That is, they have found friends of their own age, and it's very...
Do they need to be taken there for half a day?
From 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Perfect. The children are busy all day.
Anna's daughter goes to school in Bali and simply enjoys the absence of stress in her education.
It's good that they don't have a strict class system like in conventional schools. There are many clubs and activities which the child enjoys. That is, there are no forms, no homework, and no grades. So you come in, gain knowledge in a relaxed way. They have emotional intelligence and financial literacy in addition to the main subjects. It's really cool. But at the same time, I note that the child is getting a bit dull from this Bali vibe. I already joked that the end of the world will begin. She will get stuck in a grocery store with food and die of hunger because she won't open the chips. I mean, it's just that much of a complete chill out.
A private school in Bali can cost up to $800, $900 per month.
In general, children in Bali and children in Russia are very different.
Even the same children.
Even the same children, as in Bali, they are more expressive, free-spirited kids. The approaches of teachers in organizing the educational process are completely different. Free. Children who are already filled with a lot of emotions and impressions. The number of bright events in their lives is much higher. Therefore, the bar to surprise, please, and engage them is much higher.
It's more complicated. If monkeys, caterpillars, and spiders are running around the street, what do they need these coloring books for?
There are also places to go on excursions.
There are always some outings happening. We go to the cinemas and on various trips. Last week, the girls went to a performance in Surabaya on another island. It was a whole adventure for them.
Tell me about the school. Who do you communicate with there?
I communicate with Jose and the teachers at school.
Who is Jose?
This is my friend.
What language does he speak?
In English, but from Japan.
He's from Japan. No way. And how do you get along? Do you understand each other well? Yes. And what do you do? Well, there, football. I don't know.
We play.
Doing?
We play with bows. We take the bows and shoot at targets. We make arrows.
Somewhere in the jungle.
No, we just find sticks and ask the teacher to make a bow. I just took a sharp arrow. And when I took the ropes for the stick, a normal childhood, we all line up when there's just one more minute left to play until everyone has arrived. We just line up and our teacher stands in front and we talk there. It's like, what's it called? A circle, and you poke it with a stick. Go, cup. Yes, a cup. And she hits it and says something like, class to Ibuguna. And we say, yes, Ibuguna, I am here.
So what is Ibuguna?
Teacher.
Teacher, in Indonesian.
In Bali, there are many local children and children from different countries. Mostly, migrant children from the CIS find friends among their Russian-speaking peers.
So, Una, are your friends here?
I have a girlfriend and a friend for now, but soon I think I will meet someone else.
Anna's daughter is friends with the Balinese kids.
The house I was talking about was located between Ubud and Sanur, in a truly authentic Balinese village. And all the neighbors were Balinese children, and in fact, her childhood was spent surrounded by wonderful, smiling, happy, joyful Balinese children.
Was everyone interested?
Everyone was interested, yes.
And what were they doing there in the village? Is it like in our village? Chickens, geese, all that?
All the little joys, when you simply play with pebbles and you are already happy. These are the children of Bali. They are happy just because they exist.
Despite the fact that many migrants have lived here for many years, almost no one learns the Indonesian language.
So, are your children learning the Indonesian language?
There is no exact discipline of the Indonesian language, but since there is constant communication with Indonesians, everyone has some basic foundations, and most have Indonesian nannies, so children usually acquire skills. However, you push the children to know English, which feels quite natural for them because everyone around speaks English and it fits organically into their lives.
In Bali, you need to wear a helmet not only when riding a scooter because a coconut can fall on your head at any moment. At least that's how it always seems to me. In general, coconut is the most accessible drink here.
I would be shocked to leave our dried coconuts that are sold in supermarkets. This is lame, guys. A real coconut is huge and contains about a liter of liquid inside. If you buy a coconut from us and crack it open, there will be about 50 grams of liquid inside. But here, you can really indulge in it.
It seems that coconut water quenches thirst better. Here at the beach, coconut water is much more refreshing than just plain water.
Well, there is such a thing. I want coconut. By the way, I heard that people get hooked on coconut. I didn't understand why before.
During my trip to Bali, I filmed a lot of interesting things, but unfortunately not everything made it into the episodes. So be sure to follow my Instagram where I pin the coolest stuff in my stories. This little person, who has been living with us on the planet for just a few days, will proudly tell everyone in the future that their homeland is Bali.
Yes, well, he wanted to be born this way. He probably asked for it himself, yes. But honestly, I will say this was the best birth. In fact, it was the best birth. And I recommend everyone to give birth in Bali because it is much cooler than in Russia. First of all, I had a doula, and secondly, I had a clinic. In terms of cost, it is not any more expensive than giving birth in paid clinics in Russia. Well, with a discount, it came out to 110,000 rubles for me.
Anastasia liked the behavior of the doctors.
In Russia, well, there are free hospitals, of course, but the way you are treated there is like, well, in general.
How are the relationships here?
Here, they treat you like a flower. It's as if you are handled very, very gently. They have a different birthing culture in Bali. They are very kind to pregnant women and children. They really dote on you. And I kept waiting for that Russian woman to come in and start yelling at me saying, "What are you doing there?" Well, they treated you so gently and affectionately that, of course, I really liked such an attitude.
Many foreigners come to Bali specifically to give birth. They do not receive citizenship for this, but nature, they say, helps. Natalia and Marek arrived in Bali 8 years ago just to give birth.
We came to the beautiful and serene Bali to give birth to a child. There is an incredibly cool and renowned world-famous center for natural births. The center is called Bumisehat, and there is a midwife who is recognized as Woman of the Year. I don't remember which year, but she is a truly great woman, the great midwife Robin Lim, and it was actually for her that we went to give birth to Kirill. Did she give birth there the second time? Yes, but she won some kind of grant there. With this Woman of the Year award and the allocated funds, she built a really cool, modern center. Because before that, it was just a Balinese building, all dark and small rooms like an ordinary Balinese construction. And now it's already quite a bit more spacious, and everything is more or less modern. The difference is like night and day, of course.
Here, insurance is not even necessary. You simply go to the clinic, pay for a room, and that's it. You give birth. The child will not have Indonesian citizenship, as the birth certificate will state the island of Bali. After giving birth, the adaptation period lasts up to 2 weeks, and I think the baby will already be quite perceptive because of the fresh air, birds, and water. Soon, there will also be the sound of the sea, which is very nice. In Bali, they conduct what are called natural births.
This practice is gaining popularity now.
We wanted to experience this specifically because at the time when we started looking into how childbirth was done in Ukraine, natural childbirth was not yet so well developed. For example, at home with a midwife, without interventions, without having to register. At that time, without all these kinds of things, Ukraine was not particularly developed. Therefore, we started looking into the fact that we had wanted to go to Bali for a long time. Yeah, we traveled through India, and then this revolution happened in Ukraine. In general, we got a bit delayed and changed our plans. We arrived in Ukraine, we got married in India, got married in Ukraine, and then we found out that we would have Kirill and decided that, well, Bali was actually waiting for us for this.
In advertisements, videos, brochures, or stamps dedicated to Bali, rice fields are often depicted. Rice is the most important food product here, but it also generates income as a tourist attraction. Excursions are organized here and restaurants are opened in the rice fields. So you can enjoy a cappuccino while looking at the rice terraces or watching the locals digging in the mud, yet they are happy and smiling. Compliments are included in the price.
Yes, 16%, 16%.
Bali is comfortable not only for children, but also for smaller beings. Life here is abundant, everywhere.
Every square centimeter is teeming with some kind of life. We live next to the river, surrounded by jungles. You just step outside, and that's it. I throw organic waste into the jungle. We have a little pit dug there. And whether I like it or not, I go out into this jungle almost every day. It's really impressive. Everything is teeming with life. Life. Butterflies. I am just in awe. Butterflies of such beauty from such species. Well, how about it? Listen, what snow can compare to a beautiful butterfly that flies like this? Flying and flying. There are some that are as big as a bird. Here, it markets. It's like birds. You think, wow, well, that's almost a bird. Subtitles by Dima Torzok. You think, wow. And there's this little one which is like, It's like ash, ash, ash. And you just watch all of this. Damn. Wow.
With so many insects in Bali, you can only get used to it. Or better yet, admire it.
In short, something flying is flashing. It's some kind of firefly.
There are many different insects, freshwater creatures, and amphibians here.
Is it a plus or minus?
That's a plus. Well, it's a -2. Here, the birds sing every day. There is indeed also a frog that makes a sound when it croaks, which is like someone farting.
By the way, do the monkeys come to you or are they far away?
Yes, squirrels.
Do monkeys come around to you?
Yes, the monkeys are a bit far away here, but one came close to me and said they were scared, not frightened, by the monkeys because they attacked us a little. A monkey bit my friend very hard and they were quite scared. They took our water and my friend's flip-flop and tore it up. The children saw all this and now they are afraid of monkeys.
You know, you really have to tell him directly, do this for me like this, then like that, then like this. In other words, roughly speaking, if I had the tools and a mirror, I could probably do a better job for myself than you did for me.
The level of medicine here is often lower than that of our most distant clinic. So sometimes immigrants have to treat themselves.
I did something to my leg. By myself, right? Conditionally, yes. I didn't say what I needed to do because everything is fine with you. Everything is fine with you. I have excruciating pain. These ligaments in my knee are torn. Kiryuha, when the little one wasn't around, hit a dog at a low speed, but we crashed normally, got bruised. I tore these ligaments, well. I strained them, excruciating pain. We arrived at the hospital and they said everything is fine, fine. I've never felt such pain in my life. I had this vision like, you know, like in the steppes, like an old brown and black and white film. They said, okay, do you want to do an x-ray? Of course I want to. We went and did the x-ray and they said, you have nothing broken, everything is fine. I said, no, it's not fine. Something is wrong with me. Do something else. They didn't even give a diagnosis. I later started digging on the internet, asking other people. I started encountering people with similar injuries. I just realized that this is life after all. I studied the structure of the knee, what is in it, and what it is attached to. I understood where I have pain, what symptoms I have.
Marek is a sound engineer. When he first arrived in Bali, he got a job as a technician in a cinema.
Here you can find activities that you wouldn't find in a village in Ukraine or in other countries. Who makes movies in villages? Who organizes festivals in villages? Here, there are plenty of restaurants, beauty salons, conference rooms, and halls, and so on. So I basically moved from one village to another, and all of this is available to you. I started going there twice a week. And then I was given even more tasks, more and more tasks, as new responsibilities were added.
After the pandemic, Marek lost his job.
And the host suddenly said, sorry, Marek, we can no longer, how to put it, support you well in terms of our own...
Because they pay taxes.
Yes, they pay taxes, they pay all the applications, paperwork, and so on. Plus the salary. And, sorry. If you want to sell your kitas next year, as there are only a couple of months left, just let us know if you pay. We will help you. But we can no longer be your sponsor. And you basically can't work with us either. This means you are on your own.
The measured life in Bali can become boring. If not for the children, then surely for the adults.
Listen, well, actually, right now, I really want some civilization. Life here feels like it's in a village. The kids love it, right?
Some friends say, especially those who have recently arrived, I've been living here for 6 months and I feel like I'm retired just all day long. Especially those who work there by phone through communication remotely. I feel like a pensioner, wondering how you survive here and how you have spent 8 years here.
There's just such a lovely, relaxed vibe here. We really, really want to head into the city.
Are we like going out to the city?
What is this? We want to go to Canada?
And
even to any city with the current one, but not to move, just to go and listen to the noise of the cars. Let's consider when you live in a village not far from a big city with rivers, fields, forests, the sea, and so on, all within easy reach. Say 20 to 30 kilometers to some big city where you can go if needed.
The distance from military actions greatly distinguishes the situation in Bali from that in Europe and the CIS.
It seems like they are not concerned about war, right?
Well, it seems to me that yes. I mean, I haven't encountered any aggressive people. They hardly talk about this topic here. That is, in some bad news. Here, everyone is in the moment. In the moment and enjoy, probably so. Well, maybe I'm like that, I don't know, but I haven't encountered it.
I love big cities and civilization, but Bali is not about that. However, if not for myself, then for the children, it is definitely worth visiting this somewhat wild but very vibrant island. There will be more episodes about him on my channel, so subscribe to my YouTube and Instagram. I'm everywhere. Vova Karmanov. Bye.